You know what? That's probably a good place to start. I was thinking I'll leave it until we try and get like 10 people or so, but why not? Let's just go. I think it's just me today. We'll have a nice chill. Oh yeah, they're called production value points, so you can buy some more production value for the stream. I'm thinking we might add in something that's very much production value based on there, just like adding something to the screen for a certain amount of points. Or so we'll figure out something really weird. Anyway, we're here today with the other semi-final for this spring 2021 CL Jolly League. Technically not spring yet, but the finals will happen in spring, so we're calling it spring. And it's between Team FrostFire and Chainers. Chainers have to be thought to be the favourites. They have, I don't think they've lost so far. So yeah, it should definitely be an interesting game or two, or three. We'll have to see just how many there are, and we are going to be a little bit scuffed because I just got given the games like literally a few minutes ago. Uh, so I just have them in, no idea if they're in the right order or anything. We'll just have to find it out. Um, and we still have all the follow sounds and stuff on, so great, perfect. And it seems like my OBS has replaced where the follows go to the middle of the screen, so that's going well. Why has my OBS reset so many things? Okay, yeah. Anyway, nice chill version of the games today, I guess. Someone did tell me which one was the first game. Ah, yes, this one's the first game. Oh my god, this looks like a memey game. This is gonna be very interesting. Doobie, you are the first person to subscribe. I forgot I was gonna do it like as soon as we came live, but I'll have to do it later. Um, anyway, yes, let me just move us straight over to the game itself. Oh my god, this is gonna be pinging the entire time. Please tell me I've got this the right way around. No one saw that. Production values. There we go. Okay, introducing to this first game. I have absolutely no idea what order everything was brought up in. I can only assume where people are right now. I'm going to move a couple of people around. I'm going to assume it's probably Tristana mid and Kaiser bot. That probably makes sense. Coral emotes will be as soon as somebody has time to make them. Um, Yep, that makes sense. Just mid, Garen top. Anyway, so look at these two comps. For the side of Chinas, we have that Gragas. In the top lane, we have Karthus. In the jungle, Tristana mid. Um, can we have an emote with Nocturne wearing Randuin's Omen? Yes, yes we can. We have Derma in the mid lane with Tristana, Zedrez in the bot lane with Kai'Sa, and AJ Styles backing him up with the Alistar. Um, Meanwhile, on the other side of Team Frostfire, we've got the Set in the top lane, Shaco in the jungle, and Orianna mid with Caitlyn Rell bot lane. So two very interesting team comps here. I could go into them a lot, but let's just say there's a very varied team comp, I suppose, from the side of Chainers. They have a high amount of magic damage with the Karthus in the jungle, and also that will be brought by just the Gragas and the Kai'Sa, and then got Tristana with the long range and Kai'Sa providing some extra AD damage, so a nice mixed profile there, and some very good front line in the form of Gragas and Alistar. Alistar, great tank. We see going for teleports on the Alistar, so we might see some sort of teleport roams coming out from the Alistar, which would be very interesting to see. I would quite like to see how that goes. And then we also have that phase rush on the Alistar, a favourite of a lot of people taking that phase rush. Um, you do get rid of a little bit of your earlier game tankiness in response for being able to keep up with the enemies, which can be a bit of an issue with Alistar. That is why most people tend to take it. On the other side, we have that Set in the top lane, so we'll try and punish the Gragas. Might get poked out a little bit by the barrels, but we have a Shaco, not with Flash, of course. Shaco takes Ignite over the Flash since he can use his Q as a mini Flash itself. Kelka's taking the barrier in the mid lane. Definitely respecting Dermot's Tristana, wanting to try and make sure that they won't get bursted out and provide something to stop the Karthus ultimates. Exhaust, not as good in that sense because, of course, Barrier. Barrier can stop Karthus ultimates, Exhaust can't, and we do see the phase rush on the Orianna just to give a little bit extra mobility. Um, Nothing really to point out about the Caitlyn and Rel. We've got Caitlyn and Rel into Kai'Sa Alistair, so two very sort of potentially strong lanes. And then, I mean, we may as well just go. Let's start off this game. Why not? Um, so I'll be quite interested to see how they. I reckon AJ is basing us calling it a misclick. But actually, TP Alistair comes in as a Galaxy brain play. Honestly, yes, if you use the TP well, it could be amazing. We can see most of Chainers moving up here towards the top side of the map. Looks like they will be going for the early invade. They're hugging the wall, so they don't get spotted out. AJ should be spotted now. Modi is a little bit slow to respond there. The flash forwards just to try and slow Modi down. He will get the flash out of the set, which is quite big in that early game. It will take away a lot of the pressure. Wards being placed down. They will know whether the Gragas is sticking around in this jungle. Probably not. That is a nice ward put into the bottom side. Interesting point about this ward. It's a good ward to put in this situation where the enemy is invading, because you will get to see when that Karthus paths towards the bottom side of the map, or respectively towards the top side if you did go back and start bottom. It will give you quite a good indication of where he did start. Turn chat off for my own sanity. Oh god, no. We gotta have the chat on. It's part of the charm. There weren't any chatting. It'll be great gameplay. Of course, of course. We do see Shaco getting the slight leash there. Shaco, of course, a champion that doesn't really need a leash, but you do want to get your jungler off to a good start, especially when they're into something like Karthus, which has very strong early game jungling. AJ pulling out the cowbells. He knows how to play this lane. Spam the cowbell, get an advantage. And let's just listen to some beautiful cowbell. Although the game wouldn't like us to listen to the beautiful cowbell, it is moving us towards this top lane. Some nice trades coming out from Moody there, but Richard does manage to get out pretty well back. Oh, I haven't actually seen. I didn't know that was one of Rel's taunts. So just a lot of trading going back and forth. We can see that in the top lane, Set of course has that very good early strength against the Gragas. There is a lot of CS to pick up there, but we'd expect him to be slightly ahead. If he does get all of these, they will actually be equal, which is not amazing, but there we go. We would hope that Caitlyn would get slightly ahead of the Kai'Sa, just using that superior range to push him off, and we'd expect Dermat to get slightly ahead on the Tristana when he starts to get some of that kill pressure out. Because he is slightly ahead, but of course that is just the minions. Karthus and Shaco just both farming up, doing mostly full clears. Shaco is behind because he's just not as quick at farming as a Karthus is. A nice stun there from Modi's Set. Could see a gank coming out. It's strange that Cal and Atomica pushed so far up. They should have known that Karthus was on the bot side. Atomica having to jump out there, but that has slowed him down by a lot. It's not a tanky Rel. Does have to expend the flash. Cal is trying to trade back as much as possible with those auto attacks. And they will know that Karthus is now going to go for this bottom scuttle, so there could be a contest here. Shaco could take the double scuttle. Apparently the map wants to look towards this bottom lane. Atomica now, of course, without the flash, Karthus will have to give up that scuttle crab. Knows that Shaco's on the way. Just small trades coming out. Atomica will slowly use that Q on the Rel to heal back up. But so far, quite a slow early game. Not something you would really expect to see when you have things like a Tristana mid, and a Shaco especially. Shaco can do some very nice early ganks. Dermat going for a big trade here. Does manage to get the full damage out from that bomb. I don't actually know what it's called. From the bomb, sure. Whatever. Oh, and here's the Shaco gang. Comes in, It's a lot of damage onto Dermot. The Ignite is thrown down. He just needs to E him. And that's first blood going over to Zojo's Shaco. Interesting enough, he doesn't stay to help Orianna push the wave, which I assume means that Dermot will be able to TP right back, stop Orianna's base, or at least make it very difficult for her to get a base. You can see the lane didn't push in properly, so he might just decide. It'll be interesting to see whether he decides to try and freeze this here and deny Orianna, or push it as hard as possible. Of course, Tristana, not a very good champion at freezing. Looks like he will decide to push it. Try and get a plate off of that. And that's probably why Shaco should have stuck around. Help just shove that in, get Orianna a bit of a nicer back. It is an early Ocean Drake, so we expect there to be quite a decent amount of pressure put down. We can see Doma actually teched into the Demolish as well. Really wants to use the tower taking power of this Tristana. Already one plate to his name. You gotta remember, a plate's worth about half a kill. It's worth about 5 CS or so, so definitely a big advantage being built up here on the Tristana. And I can see Orianna going for the early Seekers, not wanting to give up an early first blood. Nice change from Modi, but that's a really big minion wave, and he will lose a heart here. The ultimate goes back, throwing Modi away from his tower. He's 200 health, sub 100 health now, ends up having to flash, and a flash forward from Richard will just pick up that kill. The power of the grasp on the Gragas really helped him out with those early trades. You can see there is a red control ward right now on the Ocean Drake. Shaco not electing to take it by himself, maybe wanting to wait for that level 6, just so that he can use the clone and get the extra safe take going. It looks like an invade will be coming out here from Karthus, who is actually just going for the gank onto Calicus. Calicus should be fairly safe here. Does throw the ball away from himself. That's not too bad. Zojo now going in on Monkey in the jungle. The fear doesn't actually come out from the box, but he is getting those backstabs. Will force the flash out from the Karthus. And that makes Karthus incredibly weak. Potentially an invade will come out here from the Shaco. Try and kill Karthus within his own jungle. It is a very greedy stay from the Karthus. Looks like he'll get away from it. Get away with it. Dermot going in here. That's a lot of damage. And the barrier is thrown out from Calicus. Will just stay alive. But overall, bad trade there, realistically. AJ will just go for that kill. Flash, headbutt, pulverize. Zojo has, you see here, gone in to Monkey in the jungle. And he will just flatten that Monkey out. Dermot will continue to just push mid. And that's a lot of damage that will be taken out. Yes, we can see that AJ did actually TP back to the lane to get himself a lot safer. Zojo going in here gets the fear. Dermot killing the wrong one there. Probably would have died anyway, even if he had killed the right one, but we'll miss out on that. Nice freeze coming out here towards the bottom side. That won't freeze the wave entirely, but they will keep the wave near their tower. Modi again going in for one of these short trades. It does look like Richard tends to come out more favorably from them. And overall score right now is 3-2. It is actually a 100-ish gold lead for the side of Chainers. Most of that is coming through those plates in the middle lane. 3 plates, you've got to think of that as basically a kill and a half right now on the Tristana. It's more like a kill and 2/3 actually. Oh, Tristana jumps in. The ultimate from the Karthus is thrown down. A nice stun onto Richard in the top lane there from Modi. Apparently nothing going on in the mid lane, according to our directed camera. As soon as Orianna started to walk away, our directed camera apparently knew nothing was going to happen. And more just short trades. It's not, at least this time it's not a wet noodle fight we're watching. Set, definitely a champion that can output quite a bit, a decent bit of damage. Nice interrupts coming out from Modi, but it's not quite enough to really outdo the Gragas. The passive from the Gragas really helping him to just sustain through this lane as well as the grasp. So AJ and Zedras do roam up to give Derma a little bit of extra protection with the ward. It is quite hard to ward against a Shaco. You just do want to put wards down pretty much wherever, try and get whatever advantage you can. Looks like this Drake will finally be started up by Team FrostFire. They will go and attempt to get it. Would have liked to see it taken maybe a little bit earlier, or the attempted take be done. Because it would really have helped the Orianna especially sustain through that lane and stop Tristana from pushing down the tower. Be interested to see exactly one plate left on the tower. Dermat really putting a lot of pressure into this mid lane. We'll be able to take the tower soon and then expect to start roaming around, try to get some more. He does jump in onto the Shaco. The ultimate's thrown down, but he knows which one it is because the bomb was still on him. We'll just take that kill and then use the rocket jump to jump out. Could potentially be seen as a little bit of a misplay there from Zojo, just using his ultimates a little bit too early when it's still quite obvious which one he is. Wants to wait probably for that bomb to proc, or to ultimate just before the bomb does get thrown. That's a lot of damage coming out from the Gragas. An engage in this bot lane. AJ Styles trying to get behind Walker to throw him out of the tower. Zedras jumps behind. Actually does use the killer instinct. Will get stunned up by Atomica. The exhaust goes down. Oh, and that's a nice trap from Cal Walker to just catch Zedras out there. I think they didn't think Atomica was around to help with that save. Very aggressive play coming out from the bot lane of Chainers. That ultimately gives over a kill into the pockets of the Caitlyn. Oh, and the flash forwards from Modi, and he ults him back. They really want to get this Gragas. The cask is used though. We'll just throw them away. You could go for a potential tower dive onto a Gragas, but not the safest to go for. Looks like they will end up going for this tower dive. The box is put down. They will get the stun and the fear, and Zojo will be able to just jump straight out of that tower. And they should be able to put a lot of pressure down in that top lane, get some plates back for themselves. Looks like they will share the plates between them. Atomica here has moved up towards the mid lane. They know AJ has gone. He just wants to help his mid laner, stop them potentially getting tower dived. There will be a fight breaking out in this top side jungle. Zojo is starting up this blue buff, but Derma is just putting out so much damage onto Modi. The W did come out and did save a lot. Oh, a very nice dodge against the Karthus ultimate. Derma does go for the correct one this time. Jump away from Zojo. He's doing what he can to get away, but he won't get away in the end. Derma will be able to jump out of that one and keep himself alive. Calicus just being a little bit wary here of the fact that Gragas is around. Didn't push in the wave too hard, so Derma will be able to get back and pick up most of that wave. Very close game so far. The gold score is very equal. Of course, you have to have a bit of a worry that overall this will help out Chainers a bit more. They do have that Karthus who does just want to scale up. Oh, but a nice engage there out from AJ. Does get the stun, but a nice buff it there away from Atomica to get out of that one. Cal putting so much damage down into AJ though. Does end up taking the ultimate out from the Alistar. Doesn't use his ultimate, so obviously expects that Zedras will just block it. I'm not sure about that one. I think he should have just used the ultimate. Should have just used the ult onto AJ. Trap is put down. Correct placement will get the extra free headshot out there. Oh, and AJ messes up the combo, ends up getting stunned. Monkey in the jungle and Derma are both on their way, though. There's not much that Cal Walker and Atomica can do here. They can try and pick up the one kill onto Zedras, but they're not going to get him. Atomica's just too slow, and that is a double going into the pockets of Zedras on that Kai'Sa. And it looks like focus is being put towards this top lane from Zojo. He's trying to do what he can on the opposite side of the map. They will just slowly walk down this Gragas. So tanky, but there we go. We'll get picked up in the end. It is the Prowler's Claw Shaco giving himself a little bit of extra maneuverability. They will take down a turret. It's not first turret. Unfortunately, they won't get that extra damage. The Rift Herald was also put down in that bot lane. Calicus will pick up the 25 gold from the Herald. Something you always have to remember is an interesting thing as well with the Shaco clone, you do get a bit of gold for killing it. If there is a Shaco clone after you've killed Shaco, if it's safe to do so, you should kill the clone. Atomica will jump out of that one, but he will get picked up by the Defile in the back half of that. Cal doing a small trade there onto Dermat. Meanwhile, in the top side of the map, the towers are just being pushed down. Oh, and they're going on this Gragas yet again. Prowler's Claw forwards. Modi will just pull him back in, stun him. The Sphere does try to go out, but it was killed by the tower. They will pick him up. In the meantime, looks like they're going to keep pushing down. Oh my god. And Cal just gets a solo kill onto Dermat there. I missed it pretty much entirely what happened in that mid lane, but looks like potentially Dermat aggroed the tower, took an extra tower shot. Cal just got off a couple of headshots, pressed the ace in the hole, and sniped him down. But that's the kind of kills you definitely want to be picking up. And it will open up a little bit of damage onto this mid tower there. Just a little bit of chip going down onto it. AJ can see Modi. He interrupts his own back. And we see a little bit of a slowdown in the gameplay. Cloud Drake was picked up at some point by Chainers. It will be an Infernal Soul. So that's a lot of damage coming out. Both these teams actually kind of happy with that. You've got the Karthus and the Tristana on Chainers who definitely just want to output as much damage as possible. Meanwhile, on the other side, you've got the Shaco who definitely just wants to burst people down. Infernal will definitely help with that. AJ, interestingly, still sitting on tier 1 boots. Really wanting to pick up that first mythic item before getting those defensive stats that the boots would offer. The Rift Herald is being done by FrostFire here in the pit, and a nice engage from Atomica pulls Zedrez in. The exhaust goes down onto him. The ace in the hole will take him out. They're doing what they can to try and finish off the rest of Chainers here. Richard will take a lot of damage, but it's the two tanks really going onto him, or the Bruiser and the tank. Cal Walker picks up one on the backside, and Monkey in the Jungle will also get picked up by Cal Walker. It looks like they want to continue doing the Herald here. They know Dermat is there, end up popping the heal to get out of that one. Looks like Dermat maybe will try and go for that, won't in the end. Overall, a positive trade for FrostFire. Not really too great for them. But you'll take a 3 for 2, does get some extra gold back into your pockets. Close that, keep the gold lead pretty close. An interesting point to see is we are seeing the tank Gragas being pulled out. He does have that tier, which is only about halfway stacked. I think, in fact, it's exactly halfway stacked. Yeah. But he is building more towards the tankiness, wants to be able to frontline for his team. Does mean that he's not going to provide so much of a kill threat at all onto the backline of Team FrostFire. But his team is definitely not lacking in damage. He just needs to be a very good disruptor, which Gragas is. A champion very good at disrupting. Cask does a hell of a lot. And if I'm waffling a bit, I haven't had to do a solo cast in a long time. And I am quite tired. So you'll have to put up with that. Ooh, looks like they might want to engage here. Atomica actually does just jump off the pony to get out to safety. Nothing coming out from that route. It looks like the teams want to fight over this Rift Herald. Second Rift Herald, definitely not the worst thing. Calicus takes a lot of damage there from Monkey. Monkey definitely has a lot of damage. Oh, Dermat goes in onto Modi. That's so much damage. He uses the Gale Force to dodge. That was really close though. So much damage turned back by Modi. He almost manages to pick up the kill onto Dermat, but Dermat will finish him off. And you gotta give it to him. The melee Tristana was ballsy. Atomica takes a lot of damage there, the ultimate killer instinct having to be used by Zedrez to get back onto him. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Zedrez trying to run down Monkey in the jungle, but that's just so much damage coming out. Ultimate thrown out by Monkey in the jungle seems to just be to just dissuade the Caitlyn. Baron has spawned and it looks like they are moving over to the Baron. Karthus, a champion that's incredibly good at doing Baron. Kai'Sa, another one where she can use that Q to be entirely isolated on the Baron and her passive stacks. Calicus could potentially go for a steal. He knows they're on it and it's very low. Throws it in, tries the steal but is not able to do it. The smite does pick it up. Nice smite there by Monkey in the jungle. That will be a Baron secured for the side of Chainers. They are now almost 3,000 gold ahead. We haven't actually looked at who the gold's mostly stacked on. You expect it to be almost entirely yeah, on Derma in that mid lane. He contains, in fact, almost their entire gold lead. You can see a slight gold lead on AJ as well, but apart from that, no real gold leads anywhere else. But Derma about 4,000 or 5,000 gold ahead at the moment. A nice engage from Atomica there. They get the stun onto the Karthus. They just want to back out now. They don't want to fight in the Karthus passive. But Derma jumps into the backline, assassinates one. It's going to assassinate the second one. That's 2 down. Zojo left is the only one alive. Will get picked up by AJ. Modi actually managed to get Richard in the backside, but the Gragas is not the person you want to really be going on. Much prefer to see the set just acting as zoning, keeping the Tristana off his own backline, because if the Caitlyn can get the room to put down the damage, she can do so much damage, but she won't win the 1v1 with the Tristana. And it's an absolute disaster as well. They do just get to push down with the Baron, will pick up a tower and get their backs off. And that 3,000 gold lead has just been blown apart to 5,000. Chainers just opening a massive gap in this game around that dragon, which is worth noting. They did pick it up as well. It was only the second Drake for either team. It did just sort of look like Team FrostFire wasn't on the exact same path, on the exact same page there with that fight. As soon as the Karthus went down, you could see the 2 carries trying to back off out of it. But oh, there's an engage by Atomica and Calwalker here. They're trying to kill AJ. Zedrez goes onto Atomica, uses the killer instinct to jump forwards, assassinates him. Zojo is trying to do what he can. He will get picked up by Zedrez as well. As so much damage out from the Kai'Sa. And they still have Baron. It's just the misplays coming out here from FrostFire. They were trying to get a pick onto AJ. Onto the Alistar, but Alistar's not the person you really want to be picking off. Or trying to pick off. Oh, we might actually just see an end come out here. The TP is being channeled. Buy them a little bit more time with these towers. Dermat is just focusing on the tower. A very nice engage though. They're doing so much damage. Calicus goes down. Calwalker manages to pick one up on the backside. He's doing what he can. Flashes in, gets the lit shot, picks up one. He tries to get Zedrez, can't quite get him. Zojo's in the backline, then picks up Zedrez, will end up picking up the Karthus as well. They do lose one Nexus tower and Zojo will get picked up. He does try to make the dodge happen using his Q, but I believe you can't. I don't know whether you can dodge Karthus ult using Shaco Q. You can, using his ultimate. 4 for 5. Team FrostFire do keep themselves in this game. I didn't think you could with Q. Thank you for confirming it, Quaid. But I mean, at that point, try whatever, right? Maybe you get the magical 0.001 second where there's a bug in the game and you can dodge the ultimate. Who knows? Hard to know with this spaghetti-coded game. You can see the real problem that's coming out is Just, oh, Tomika and AJ just having a little bit of fun, a little bit of a hug in the mid lane. You know, support's gotta be gotta be together. We can see that the Baron and Infernal are both spawning soon. I have to imagine that we end up seeing a trade here. I'd expect Team FrostFire to want to get that Baron. That's much more important, denying the Baron right now. The Infernal itself, while nice, it's not a soul. Oh no. Zerjo just didn't realise Dermat was there, I think, and gets bursted out. And we see that Chainers will just push down this top lane. Richard just zoning Cal and Tomika away, as well as AJ. Zedras finds a Cal Walker on the backside. Will pick him up. There's a massive engage coming out, but there's no real damage left for the side of TFF. They're doing what they can. They will pick up Zedras. Calica's doing everything that he can. But there's the Karthus ultimate coming down. The Requiem picks up too. It's just Zoja left to defend Nexus Tower on almost no health. He'll do what he can, but this game is over. Game 1 going over to the side of Chainers. Still undefeated. Haven't lost a single game. As final auto comes out. Chainers do pick up game 1. Ah, Clade actually queuing up a nice walk away there. Oops, I should have gone back to the main stream before pressing OK on that. So there we go. That is game 1. That went over to the side of Chainers, putting them 1 up in this match. We'll have to see whether Team FrostFire can bring it back in the second game, force Chainers to lose a game and play out the entire series, or not. I am just looking for my my update so I don't have to update the scores in game. I believe it's this one that I need to put to 1. Yes, there we go. We'll find out if it's right as soon as I load the next game, I guess. Okay. So, I mean, I could talk about MVPs, but it's sort of pointless when I'm on my own. Like, you need to sort of bounce these things off of other people. You can't just... Well, I could just, like, throw an MVP out there, but what would be the point? What would be the point, really? So, this time, let me get up the right game. I think it's this one. Hey, yeah, there we go. We'll get in. Indeed, it is. We see yet again some interesting picks coming out. Modi for Team FrostFire has the Aatrox in the top lane. We have a Kayn in the jungle. Calicus is playing Diana in that mid lane, taking Cleanse. An interesting pick. Cal Walker has the Senna with a Tomika going support. Cho'Gath does take Exhaust, not the teleports, which you tend to see a little bit more of, but Exhaust also very good. We can have a little chat about the thought process behind that lane because it's a very good lane. We have on the other side, Richard on the Silas in the top lane. So we definitely have that sort of kill lane in the top lane between Aatrox and Silas. We have Monkey in the jungle playing yet another AP champion. He's picked up the Fiddlesticks this time, playing Predator Fiddle. Dermat is playing mid lane Nocturne, a new favorite coming out pretty much globally. A lot of people playing it. Can do a lot of damage. We have to see which build he decides to go. What he decides is most useful. Zedras will be playing Jhin anyway, and we have the Pike for AJ Styles. Pike, an interesting pick. I'm not sure Pike into Cho'Gath is going to be amazing, but we'll have to see how that plays out for them, as we will just get into and start playing the game. It will be the fasting Senna, as we can see the sickle being picked up. A very interesting point actually is I really dislike going sickle on most support champions, even if you're playing them AD. The reason being you actually get 25% more mana regen um, from first buy all the way through the game from buying the AP version. So if you have almost any AP scalings at all, it pretty much makes it more worth to go for the Spell Thieves over the Sickle, just because it does give you that extra mana regen and it will allow you to be a lot more free in lane with how you use that mana. But there we go. So we do see the Sickle coming out. In terms of anything else, we do have that Corrupting Pot up in the top lane for Richard. So we'll have quite a bit of sustain, a hell of a lot of sustain as the Silas. Both junglers deciding to go for that blue smite, so not really looking for the 1v1s, they want the extra little bit of CC and as the maximum damage possible out from their smites. Can see that Dermat has actually gone for the Doran shield as well in the mid lane on this Nocturne, wanting to keep himself just topped up on HP. So Kane, of course, can start by himself. Fiddle, it will be getting a leash. Another champion that can definitely start solo if he wants, but you absolutely love to get a leash on Fiddle. It just speeds up your clears so much, makes it so much more healthy as well. You can really punish your Fiddle. So the point with this Senna Cho'Gath lane is that Cho'Gath just provides so much sustain. As the champion that has to go and farm for himself, when he walks up and kills a minion, he'll get back a little bit of HP and a little bit of mana. So the fact that he can farm means that he'll get those back almost constantly, picking it up, and it's just really hard to force him out of lane, especially with the Senna healing from the Q thrown up on him. Trade's coming out on this mid lane. Dermat's actually putting a very decent amount of damage down into Calicus as procced the Conqueror. Gets Calicus down to about 250 health. That would be one pot forced already out from Calicus. We see both junglers clearing at about the same speeds, both cleared out their red sides of the jungle, and that will just leave the single target camps for them left to do. AJ tries to get a little bit of something out there, and you can see a little bit as well of that, the disgusting CC that this lane can put out as well. So the reason you want Cho as a support is pretty much because the amount of CC that he can bring and the amount of free stats that he brings are just insane. So he can be very free, but we do have a fight coming out on the top lane, so we'll talk about that a little bit. No? Okay, he can be very free with what he buys just because he gets so much health off of his ultimate. Pretty much just getting like a free ruby crystal by eating a minion for the first like few minutes of the game is amazing. And then also you get to layer the CC, so if Cho's Rupture does force the flash out of Atomicus Cho'Gath, they will get the Rupture onto Zedra's. Calwalker just autoing, doing a little bit of damage. So the point is, if you hit the Rupture, it means that Senna can hit her W. If Senna hits her W, it means that Atomica can hit the Rupture on the Cho'Gath, that's the knock-up, and then you can just use the Feral Scream to immediately silence them. And the amount of CC that you put down is just disgusting. Calicus is actually completely out of mana, trying to stick around in this lane, but being bullied a lot. I'm not entirely sure why he decided to go for the cleanse. I get that there's two fears on the enemy team that you could cleanse, but I'm not sure how worth that is when you compare it to everything else that you could have taken. Like, if you want to go for something that's going to try and keep you alive, I think I'd prefer to have just seen the barrier or the TP coming out. Lots of trades coming out in this bottom lane. There's a lot of minion aggro that Calwalker takes there. Zedra's might actually... Oh, sorry, Monkey in the jungle might actually look for some sort of gank. Towards this bottom lane, he is behind taking the Krugs. The Bone Skewers just being threatened by AJ constantly. Calicus really needs to get off her back. This is one of those situations where... But they do get Calwalker down very low. The Ignite's thrown out. It was matched by the heal and the flash from Calwalker to keep himself alive. He will have to back. Looks like Zojo will has now pathed down towards this bottom lane to try and give a little bit of pressure to the Cho'Gath, keep him just able to farm nicely. You can see Chaina's already getting a little bit of a gold advantage. About 500 coming out, that is mostly from this CS lead in the bottom lane and that middle lane. We can see Calicus was getting bullied quite heavily by Dermat. Whereas, and of course the Cho'Gath, he can sustain up very well, but he's still going to struggle to keep up CS realistically. Dermat puts out a lot of damage. Calicus quite late on the cleanse there. I'm not sure he really needed to use it at that point. If you're going to use the cleanse, just throw it out straight away. Six has been hit by both these mid laners, so definitely something that can gank. We haven't seen many ganks come out yet from Zojo. In fact, he has not ganked yet 6 minutes into the game on the Kayn. So looks like he will be getting quite a slow... Oh, nice sidestep on by Modi. He'll be getting quite a slow upgrade for Kayn. It'll be interesting to see which version of Kayn he does go. Of course, reminder what's at stake this game. TFF fighting to keep themselves in the competition. They need to pick up a win here. It is a best of 3. And if they do pick up a win, they will be the first people to have picked up a win against Chainers and will force them to game 3. If Chainers win, they get to go straight through to the finals where they will take on Team Bruv. And they won't have to play the 3rd game if they manage to win this one. Keep their win streak alive. Monkey in the jungle is hanging around this middle lane, just giving Dermat a bit of that extra pressure so he's safe to walk up. Get that wave. He has found Zojo in the jungle. And there is the paranoia and the ultimate from the Fiddlesticks. They will pick up first blood at 7.5 minutes. They didn't get the fear out there, but they got a hell of a lot. It is a really interesting strategy that I hadn't thought of before. The paranoia actually pairs up so well with Fiddlesticks. Because if you don't know, Fiddlesticks passive means that if you use an ability on someone and they don't see you when you use the ability, or they haven't seen you within a certain amount of time, you fear them. So that's part of Fiddlesticks' passive, which means that if Nocturne uses the paranoia, the enemy team can't see Fiddlesticks despite him being practically right in front of them. Oh, but AJ Styles tabbed out there or something. Takes quite a lot of damage from Atomica and Cal Walker. When they hit 6, this will be a very high pressure kill lane actually from the Cho'Gath and the Senna. Oh, but 6 was hit by AJ and Zedra's first. They will get Atomica low. That is the ultimate thrown out by AJ Styles. Will pick up Atomica. And the curtain call was thrown out by Zedras. He will interrupt it to get away from Zojo. Zojo flashing forwards to get as much damage as he can. Gets out the Q and will get the kill there. Now AJ is left to try and run away. He is rooted up. Auto attack onto the ward there by Cal Walker. Who will they give this to? They give it to the center. I think I would have liked to see it on the Diana, but there you go. Kill's a kill. I'll have to see what is decided to be built by pretty much everyone. The Oblivion Orb already being picked up on Calicus's Diana. While there is quite a lot of healing. Oh, Paranoia being used up towards this top lane. Dermat's going in with Richard onto Modi. Modi is just so low. No way he's going to get out of that one. At that point, I think you just turn and fight. You do what you can. Maybe you rely on that healing to try and get himself out. TP actually coming in here towards the mid lane. Dermat just wanting to get back to pick up that entire wave. Bone Skewer used by AJ, but Atomica will flash out to the side. Yeah, we do see the early Oblivion Orb on Diana. And although there is a Fiddlesticks and a Silas that you're against, Yeah, I don't really like it. It's not your job to be providing the anti-heal for your team. Um, Especially not into the Nocturne, for example. You probably just want the early lane pressure. You're just going to be trying to burst people out, so slowing down your build path by getting this early Oblivion Orb, which is not really providing you much in lane, is questionable. Tomahawk and Cal Walker putting out quite a bit of damage onto Zedrez. Oh, and here's the flank from Monkey and AJ. A nice predict there from Cal Walker, but it's not enough. Anatomical we picked up on the backside as well. They just didn't expect the Fiddlesticks coming out from behind them. Richard steals the Aatrox ultimate. I believe he's used it. Interestingly, it's pretty much impossible to tell whether it's on or not. But I assume from the healing it must be. Yeah, that's an interesting one. I wonder if they'll ever make that so it's actually properly visible Aatrox ultimates on Silas. Oh, but the engage comes back. Modi pops the ult, but Paranoia is coming in. Oh, it's towards the Dragon Pit. They're trying to get the Kayn. Meanwhile, fight's going up and towards the top lane. Sojo is taken down next to the Dragon Pit. Monkey in the Jungle will finish off that Ocean Dragon, picking up first dragon of the game. About 11 minutes and 40 seconds. AJ Styles just feeling bad for the side of TFF, donating them a free kill. Fear goes down onto Calicus. He holds the cleanse for some reason. Calicus, maybe not used to playing with cleanse, decided to take cleanse, and to be fair, it happens to me before. Sometimes you get out of the play and you're like, wait a second, I had this thing, I should have used it. I'm just so unused to having this summoner. It didn't occur to me. Modi trading onto Richard is getting some small bits of poke down. Richard actually picking up the early Bramble Vest, wanting to slow down the Aatrox's healing. A very smart buy, honestly. Um, when you're into a lane against someone, that's a lot of their damage is going to come out from them auto-attacking you, or weaving their uh, auto-attacking you, and a lot of their lane. Oh, lots of trades going down. Modi actually getting a lot of damage into Richard, but Richard will just heal up. Silas healing is absolutely disgusting. Oh, it's probably a tower dive coming out towards the top lane. Dama actually waits so long, Modi just walks out without being found. That does mean they have a lot of pressure. Interestingly enough, Calicus did push in that wave, but it's not really done anything with it. Was sitting in the bush for quite a long time. Paranoia goes down onto Calicus. The cleanse is used slightly early, I think. Calicus jumps back in, uses the ult to pull them in. Dermot will tank a tower shot. Monkey in the Jungle will tank one as well and get picked up on the backside. TPs are coming in from both teams. Richard has now joined the fight. It's a 2v2. Modi is doing as much damage as he can. Both Kayn ultimates are thrown out. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, it's all going kind of wrong for TFF, but they are fighting well in this mid lane. Richard taken to 100 health, 200 heals just back up. That healing was absolutely disgusting. Why is that allowed? Flash rolls from Zedrez. He's doing what he can. Pullback from AJ Styles will actually pick that up that kill. I'm not sure what got the finishing blow. Sidestep from Atomic. He's got to be very careful sticking around here. If the Bone Skewer hits, he should die. Yep, and the bouncing grenade is just bounced off his head. Let's pick up that one. And this time, it's around 14 minutes where everything's starting to fall apart for TFF. I can see it's mostly at the moment just sort of item differences. Ultimate's thrown out by Cal Walker to just interrupt a couple of backs. Calicus is also here and they can see him. You can see AJ's not going to go in for it. We'll just come to pick up this Rift Herald. The attacks are interrupted once again. Atomica's left in the mid lane to pick up all of that farm. And pick up the farm he will. Monkey in the jungle is waiting to potentially jump across this wall. Oh, and they can see Calicus, and Calicus is just stuck with no cleanse this time. Nothing you can do into the double trouble, Paranoia, and Crowstorm? No, I don't think it's called Crowstorm anymore. What did they rename it to? I'm sure they renamed it something. No, it is called Crowstorm still. We're getting another 1v1 between Richard and Modi in the top lane, but meanwhile in the mid lane, oh, that's so much damage from Dermot. He just honestly sort of walks down Zojo. Kawalker's putting out a little bit of damage, but he's only level 8 to Dermot's level 12. Modi, meanwhile, in the top lane, struggling to stay alive against Richard. The Sylas healing is just so much stronger, especially when all of Aatrox's is being just sort of cucked by the Bramble Vest. Richard spending that extra 1,000 gold, I think, has just pretty much won him the lane. The interesting thing as well in that lane is you can't do the same thing back to Sylas. If you did prick up the Bramble Vest into Sylas, well, A, he does mostly magic damage, so the armor's pretty useless against him. Oh, Paranoia is coming in towards this bottom lane though, rooted up with the Deadly Flourish. And here is the Jhin ultimate coming down. Atomica ends up flashing away from that, doesn't want any part of it. Calicus is doing what he can to just be there, but yeah, this game has just gone quite sideways. Oh, Modi getting a nice trade onto Richard, but Richard will just use one of Sylas's many dashes to get out of that one. Modi being forced to actually flash away from AJ's stun. Will be able to just walk out of it though. And it's 2 dragons over to the side of Chainers. We are looking at a Cloud Soul, so not the most impactful soul. So definitely, if you are a fan of TFF, it's good news for them. They can afford to give up another couple of dragons before they absolutely have to fight. If ever they do give up that Elder, you have to imagine that the game will just end. Atomica actually pushing up very far to get close to that wave. It's like TFF at this point are just trying to farm up wherever they can. Oh, but there we go. It's the fear straight into the Paranoia. If TFF ever walk away from their towers, it just spells absolute doom. He does actually get out of it, but he has to expend so much. And here's the counter engage. Atomica brought really low, picked up in return, but Monkey in the jungle is very low, does force a flash out from him, and he will get picked up. Oh my god, but that was so much damage to Calwalker. Calwalker just taken down pretty much instantly by the Jhin. Dema now fighting. He double flash, interestingly enough. Calicus forced very low, and this will be the ace with a quadra kill for the Jhin. And yeah, this game feels pretty much over. It feels like the thing that people have mostly caught onto recently about Nocturne, which is why he's being played mid lane a lot, is the map pressure the Nocturne ultimate provides is just insane. He can jump almost anywhere, and he can do so much damage and just deny the opponent so much vision that he brings so much to the team. And it's really hard to push him in the mid lane because his Q does so much damage to clear the wave, along with that passive, which is basically a cleave, which just does a little circle of damage. It's sort of like when Rengar was being played all the time. People played Rengar for a while after the Assassin rework because you could pretty much be on ult for most of the game and you wouldn't even actually jump on people. You would just use your ultimate and no one would have any idea where you were. You had enough damage that you could one-shot a squishy, which just meant that basically the enemy team could never leave their base. And here Atomica's just caught out, and the Pike ultimate is used to pick him up. Meanwhile, Zedrez and Monkey in the jungle are just dueling down this Baron. Modi can see what they're doing, but he's not really near enough to stop him. Nice juke from Cal Walker onto AJ, but oh, that's so much damage out from AJ. Pulls Cal over the wall and basically one-shots him. He will get picked up in return, and there is a shutdown, a little bit more gold into the Kane's pockets. Meanwhile, Calicus is putting damage down into that tower in the bottom, does back off in time to get away from the potential Nocturne gank, which, yeah, there's pretty much no way he will expect to win that 1v1. He has an entire item down. And TFF just trying to hold on for their for their dear lives. Atomica looks really small. Only has the 2 stacks right now. Let's see where those stacks come from. No, let's not find out where those stacks come from. I'm almost surprised he hasn't been using his stacks on minions at this point just because they need the free stats so badly. But there's the engage. Yeah, it's just so hard for them to do anything. If they move into their jungle without the vision already being there, they just get run down. They just get jumped on by the Fiddlesticks, by the Nocturne. If they don't know where Fiddlesticks is, then there's pretty much nothing they can do. We can see that there's actually a 3-lane split push going on right here. The Fiddlesticks and Nocturne pushing in. Oh, but that's a nice engage from the Diana. They almost take down Monkey in the jungle instantly. Senna ultimate, the Dawning Shadow, will pick up 1 in the turn. And I believe that ends up actually being a 1-for-1 in the bottom lane, which is really good for FrostFire right now. That's what they want to do. Zojo is going down onto Zedrez. Doesn't look like he has enough damage to win that. He will come out and just get picked up by the Jhin. Atomica will pick up 1 kill on the backside of that. Cal Walker now has to try and get out before the Curtain Call picks him up as well. It's just the Senna and the Aatrox left alive to try and defend against Jhin and Nocturne. Modi's going in, forces the flash out of Zedrez, but Zedrez is doing so much damage. So that is a wave of super minions that will be coming in the mid lane. So in terms of just seeing how good chainers are, we'll have to see how they try and use this pressure that they now have in the mid wave, because they weren't able to end off of that. They'll pick up the dragon. It'll be interesting to see how they try and use the mid-wave pressure that they have gotten. Because it's not worth them just clearing out the jungles. And I'm not sure how much I actually like this. They left Zedrez to pick up that dragon. He's sitting on 1700 gold and now coming back to the fight. I would much prefer to see him just back. You have the Fiddlesticks pick up the dragon, and then you go straight back into pushing. Push 1 wave and rotate down or up to the other lane. Monkey in the jungle trying to get an ult in. The Paranoia goes forwards and the flash in from the Fiddlesticks. Doing what damage they can. The Pike ult does miss. That is a window of opportunity for TFF, but they are just getting melted. Only 3 of them left now to try and defend. Modi's doing what he can against Richard. Richard fought very low, but there's the disgusting Pike healing. Silas healing. Coming back up, Zojo now just is hooked out of his own Nexus. That's actually an interesting interaction. But there we go, game 2, going over to the side of Chainers. Clean, quick 2-0 for the side of Chainers there. Game time actually coming in at under an hour total. So yeah. Unfortunately, TFF just could not keep up with the tempo that Chainers were able to put out, the map pressure, especially in the second game. was insane. The amount of pressure that Dermat was putting out in the first game with the Tristana also just made it practically unplayable for the side of TFF. They did keep up for a little while, but couldn't keep up overall. And that does mean that Chainers will be the second team, or will be one of our two teams in our finals that I assume will be happening this week. So look forward to that, guys. Team Bruv versus Chainers coming to a screen near you soon. Will Chainers drop a game? Will Team Bruv be able to rise and take at least one win from Chainers, maybe the entire championship? Tune in to find out. Thanks guys for coming. We do have affiliate now, so feel free to use those free tweet. No, I'm not going to do all that shit for you guys. You know what to do if you actually care about that kind of stuff. If you want emotes on the channel, throw suggestions for emotes. If you want point things, throw suggestions for point things. Whatever you want or you think we should add now that we have affiliate, let us know in the Discord. We'll see what we can get added. Thanks everyone for coming. We'll see you later on in the week, I think, maybe next week, for the finals between Team Bruv and Chainers. See ya.